In this episode, I moved to Hawaii 8 months ago and was homeless for 116 days. I now live in an apartment and I give snorkeling tours of dolphins and manta rays. Ask me anything? Redditor asked, is it possible to go from homeless to having a home without sleeping with someone who has a home, asking for a friend? Post creator replied, absolutely, unfortunately I sleep by myself. Redditor A added, tent on a beach actually doesn't sound too bad. Redditor B added, Hawaii actually has a massive homeless population. Redditor C added, probably because the rent is so ridiculously high. Redditor asked, somehow I read that you give manta rays and dolphins snorkeling tours. Post creator replied, it's quite difficult to put the manta ray-sized masks onto their faces. Redditor asked, why did you move to Hawaii and how did you end up being homeless? Post creator replied, this is sort of the big question. I moved away because I spent a long winter back at home. It all started about a year and a few weeks back. I was working at my previous tour guide job at the time. Things were going well and I had a pretty solid plan to further my career. One night late October of 2018, I got a call from my mother telling me that my baby sister was diagnosed with cancer. I couldn't really handle this news at the time. It brought up memories of when my mother battled cancer much earlier in life. I weighed my options after a lot of deliberation and I chose to put my plans on hold and move back home to be with them. I had no idea what was going to happen. The home I grew up in wasn't exactly an ideal place. Lots of memories there, but most importantly for this situation were the recollections of my mother battling cancer when I was much younger. Cancer did so much more harm than just the physical complications. We all kind of battled it together, and even though she came out on top, it eviscerated my family. We were all scarred one way or another. There are some things you just shouldn't see as a kid. I remember wondering to myself if this was what we had in store to face again. Moving back home in northern Michigan for me meant a very small town, in a summer cabin, wood-burning stove, no insulation, and for this winter I recall the lowest forecast temperature was -50 F late January. So I spent a lot of time in my days tending to the fire and preparing wood for what it was worth. My mom worked long shifts, so unless I was with my sister I spent a lot of time alone. The solitude slowly turned to boredom, which turned to overthinking, then paranoia, and eventually dread. By mid-January of 2019 I hardly recognized myself in the mirror. I could barely remember the person I was before all of this started. My sister's appointments were a 2.5-hour drive one way for treatments. The trips would sometimes take multiple days and were quite costly. There were fundraisers and a ton of donations to the cause. Looking back, it was incredible how many people came together from various areas of our lives to lend a hand however they could. From donating large quantities of wood for heat or gas money to simple things like coming to spend time socializing. I personally can't express enough how important it was to have friends there. They kept me from completely losing my mind. I don't remember if it was late February or early March that my sister, my mother, and I were at an appointment in together, and one of her doctors essentially told us one of the first signs of good news. I couldn't tell you exactly what point things started to make sense to me that she was on the upswing, but I eventually came to realize it was time to return to the world. It was a long, dark, and cold descent through that winter. When it came time to start looking ahead again, I returned to my old plans for my career. I had pretty much everything sorted out. Travel to South Carolina, move in with a friend, start a new tour guide job and keep moving forward. There was a mix-up and my plans had to be delayed another month. When I found that out, I took it in stride and figured I would bide my time by studying the information I needed to know for this tour guide position and make the move the following month. After I made that decision, I went to sleep. The next day I woke up saying fuck this place, fuck the cold, fuck riding on the edge of insanity. I started exploring my options. I remembered some old plans I made to move here the previous winter that I came up with and shelved. I wasn't ready for a dramatic change then. My life was pretty stable. I knew 2 people who lived here at the time, one from my old tour guide job. I messaged him and asked him about Hawaii. He responded by accidentally sending me 8 photos of the place. Within 5 minutes of starting the conversation I had booked a one-way ticket. That's why I ended up in Hawaii. I was homeless because I had absolutely no plan, so I ordered a hammock from Amazon and that became my new abode for the next 116 days. Doctor spent a lot of time alone in the cold and the dark while taking care of sick sister, wanted some sunlight once she was feeling better. Homelessness due to complete lack of planning. Redditor A added, thanks for taking the time to answer in detail. Man, what a life. I'm sorry for all the dark times you has to go through, and it's really nice that both you and your family are doing better now. I worked in tourism for a bit and I must say that pretty much all the tour guides I met are often people with a good think out of the box mindset, interesting stories to tell. You make no exception. Hope Hawaii is giving you everything you needed and more. Post creator replied, thank you, it's been extremely cathartic since I got here. It was a long process to get to where I currently am professionally and mentally. I'm really just thankful for the experiences I've had since I arrived. Redditor B added, you sound like a super brave and tough person. I am also from Michigan and I know so many tough people from there who made great lives for themselves when all odds were against them. I got out too and I now live in the Arizona desert. If I ever visit Hawaii, I'm definitely going to you for snorkeling. I'm glad you're in a safe place now and I bet you'll accomplish so much in life. Redditor asked, how did you eat? What did you eat? Did you have any savings when you moved there? Post creator replied, when I came here I had about $2.5 thousand. After about a week and a half of being here I started a job as a barista in a restaurant. I usually ate food there or other places in town. I ate a lot of fish. Redditor added, it's really impressive that it only took you just over 3 months to get yourself a place considering that you didn't start with a huge sum of cash. I am glad to hear you weren't hungry and congrats on the new digs. Good luck with everything. Post creator replied, hey, thank you. Staying homeless wasn't exactly on my mind, so I did what I needed to do to get out of that situation. Redditor added, almost 4 months. I didn't feel like clicking backwards to see the exact number of days. Color me lazy. Redditor asked, worst diving experience? Post creator replied, my worst diving experience would have to be trying to get into open water from a very rocky beach with some pretty significant swells. Luckily I got in and out relatively unscathed. Redditor asked, what is the dumbest thing someone has done while snorkeling? Post creator replied, disregard the entire briefing I give on proper etiquette for the experience. I explain how we attract plankton to attract mantas and to do a little movement as possible to let the plankton build up. Some people will straight up kick their feet where we put our lights to draw the plankton and it disrupts the entire process. Redditor asked, what sort of app you got and how much is it? Wife and I had our honeymoon there this summer and really wanna move out there. Post creator replied, I live in a duplex, on the first floor. Underneath my landlord. In total it's $1,750 per mo. Redditor added, nice. Which island you on and where? Post creator replied, Big Island. I don't really want to get too specific. Redditor asked, I am in the human services field and am always interested to hear how people can get out of it. Did any services help you? Post creator responded, I didn't use any services to get out of it. I just worked a lot. Redditor asked, how did you feel when arriving to Hawaii and realizing that it wasn't planned? How was being homeless? Did someone help you or did people treat you different before and after, during being homeless? Glad everything ended good. Post creator responded, when I got here I never felt happier to feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. I was so ready for something novel to experience that I would jump at the opportunity to do anything, cliff diving, free diving, camping, extended. The lack of planning is actually pretty natural for me. Being homeless had amazing times and shit times. Falling asleep to the sound of the ocean or rain in a hammock is undeniably some of the best sleep I ever had. I never had a time in my life where I naturally woke up and fell asleep with the sun before this, that felt pretty great. I had 2 friends here initially that helped me get set up before they moved back to the mainland. Most people didn't believe I was homeless because I took particularly good care of myself. I got a gym membership that I would use to shower, shave, and I held myself to a rule that I had to actually do a regular workout before I would use the shower to keep face. I was probably the cleanest homeless person you could imagine. On the downside, traveling via bicycle in the rain is not ideal. Having my possessions stolen including my passport and 2 bicycles was pretty rough. Not having anywhere that I could go and just sleep whenever I wanted was grueling at times. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more daily stories.